Hi everybody, happy Sunday. We took care of ourselves this week and got wellness checks here in Kuala Lumpur. It was the whole shebang. We're going to tell you all about it and what it cost in this week's video. Stay tuned.
We're Chris and Steve, an early retired couple who sold everything to travel the world full time. We share our Nomad life, hikes, and vegan eats. Grab our book, 2 Carry-ons and a Plan on Amazon and follow us on social. Subscribe to catch our video every Sunday.
Where are we?
We're in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, really enjoying the people here and the weather and taking care of our health care. And so for those of you who are interested in maybe
Traveling abroad and taking care of your health, we're going to tell you all about it. Is that what you wanted to say?
That's what I wanted to say.
Okay, great. So the reason why we're in Kuala Lumpur is because we're U.S. citizens and we do have medical coverage in the U.S., but it doesn't apply for us outside the U.S. So we have an additional policy with IMG Global. We're going to put a link up here about how we cover our insurance, but our deductible is about $5,000 because it's a catastrophic policy. So when it comes to just your basic wellness checks, it makes sense for us to do medical geo arbitrage, which is travel around the world and try to find some affordable places to do our medical care. When we decided to come to Kuala Lumpur, we came actually for me to get knee surgery, which we will talk about in next week's video. I know a lot of you are interested in what I ended up doing and how I ended up doing that. We've got one more thing going on with my knee this week, and so we're going to wait till next week to cover all that. But this week, we are going to cover our wellness checks. So there's a variety of hospitals here in Malaysia, and what do you think of the hospitals?
All the hospitals here are really amazing. I mean, very updated, very modern. The people are wonderful. We're going to get this out right away, is that language is not a problem here. Everybody speaks English. It's very easy to communicate with people, even if English is their second language
or third.
Mm-hmm. It's very easy to communicate with people here, and especially the doctors. They speak better English than we do, so the process was really seamless, and the people are kind and very, very generous, and it's really just a great place to be.
Right. So there's lots of hospitals actually here in Kuala Lumpur. There are 3 that really cater to the expat population. That's Gleneagle, Prince Court, and Pantai. They're all kind of the luxury, private hospitals. So we investigated all 3, more for my knee surgery than for our wellness checks. But as we were looking through, and all 3 of them, actually all the hospitals, or most of the hospitals here in KL, offer what they call health screenings. And they have different levels of health screenings. A lot of the locals just go to get their annual exam, and a lot of expats and travelers come in to get these executive packages. So we looked at all those hospitals, and we actually looked at a couple clinics. We found that at the local clinics, you can get abbreviated forms of things for about half the price that we paid at the hospital. But we went ahead and picked Prince Court for our wellness check. And why did you do that? You picked it.
I did, and I think really it's just because the variety and the extent of the services that they offered. So for their wellness check, there's like Chris said, a number of different levels. And the highest level, I was like, wow, I want all that. These are some amazing services, including a complete audiology testing. And for those of you who don't know, I've got some hearing loss. I wear hearing aids, and really the audiology and some of the urology and some of the other tests that they completed were things that kind of set this hospital apart. But I think any of them would have been good for this type of health screening. It is really a basic service that they provide for a lot of people.
So we're going to tell you everything we did and the cost we'll tell you the cost at the end of the video. So subscribe now. Hit that subscribe button. We're so close to actually getting monetized on YouTube. It's a goal of our life. Anyway, so we spent 8 hours at the hospital. And so how this works is you sign up, you go into the registration desk, they check you in, and then off you go to all the different departments, and someone escorts you through each department. So when we showed up, they knew exactly who we were, they checked it, they just pulled us in, and off we did to go do our different test or exam at the location. So there was no who are you and you need to wait or whatever. It was just this very efficient process. of going to all these different places to get our test, and with lunch in the middle of the day. So, which our lunch was included.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the first thing we did?
Well, the first thing they did is they drew our blood, and because there was a variety, we'll talk about 5 pages of blood analysis and reports that they did on us. And then we did a urine specimen, and then they did the whole, blood pressure and weight and height and that kind of thing. And then I think from there, I did the audiology was the first thing that I did.
And then I did a stress test. We did all these things. We both did all these things, but we did them in a little bit different order. Then I did a stress test, which you really liked your stress test, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time, I've seen it on TV where, the person's on the treadmill and they're running and there's all the machines and the person reading it. And so anyways, that report was really fascinating as well. The first time with all the wires connected and running on the treadmill was a lot of fun for me. And so I didn't expect this health screening to be so much fun.
Then they did a chest x-ray, I got a pap smear and a mammogram, and then we went to the bone density. You had never had bone density before, had you?
Never had a bone density. Didn't even know that was a thing. I thought it was like, when you get older, you need to worry about osteoporosis. Well, this is really a test to actually see how are your bones doing, and is this something that you need to be worried about? And again, a very complete report that followed that. And also the abdomen, doing the ultrasound of your abdomen.
That was so amazing. So you lay on the table, and the actual doctor does the ultrasound. So he's got the gel, and he's doing the wand on your belly, and up on the screen comes up all your organs. Here's your pancreas, here's your liver, here's your kidneys, whatever. And he would measure them to make sure they were the right size and the right shape. We looked for stones in all the different organs and the general health, and if there's tumors. And so right there, as he's examining you, he's telling you, your pancreas looks great, and your liver looks great, and it's the right size. You don't have to worry about anything. So you were real excited when they got to your prostate, wasn't he?
Well, again, I'm, getting a little bit older, and I know prostate has been a concern of mine. And it certainly, it was. I mean, it looked healthy, but you actually see it on the screen. The doctor, measured it and said, okay, we want to do some follow-up on this, which we did, and we'll talk about in a minute. But it was really good to see all the organs, and to be able to know, are there any issues or things that that look good.
So from there, we got not only did we get vision exams, but we got ophthalmology exams, and then I think we had lunch, and then after lunch we got a chance to talk to the dietitian, and then from there we went to the doctor to actually talk through all of our results. So in the process of the day, they ran all our results, put the reports together, gave them to the doctor. We walked into the doctor, and then he reviewed all of our reports. So there. He gave us, yay, we got great bills of health, yay, except my thumb. And, but there were a couple things that he was concerned about. So, and he filled your prescriptions too, right?
Yeah, so I just needed a prescription refilled, no problem. Got that taken care of right away. And then there were a couple of referrals. So there were a couple of things, particularly with me, that maybe some questions about my heart health, and some things that other doctors in the past had mentioned, but none of them really had a very easy path for additional tests that would be reasonable.
In the U.S.
In the U.S. That would be reasonable. Some of the tests that the doctors have recommended were extremely invasive and
expensive.
Extremely expensive. This was not going to be invasive or expensive that I could do. And so follow up with it with a urologist. And it was a seamless process again, because those people, we had to make additional appointments because by this time it's 5 o'clock in the evening, but very easy to get appointments with those specialists
a couple of days later. Yeah. And they also took a look at our blood panel to see, gave us a whole breakdown of our blood panels and our sugars and our cholesterol. We got cancer markers. It told us whether we had markers for cancer. For me, it was a bunch of female cancers and brain cancer, and you had testicular cancer marker. Anyway, we don't have the markers, which was great to hear, but we'd never had a marker test before. The blood work was absolutely really phenomenal. And because our blood work actually came back so well, the dietitian that we had the appointment with, she's like, just keep doing what you're doing. I think otherwise, if we had blood work that didn't show so great, she would have given us some suggestions and some diet suggestions and stuff.
And that was the first time, again, as part of a normal health screening, to spend 45 minutes, with a dietitian talking about our diet, talking about our health, talking about healthy strategies for eating, and reviewing our blood work, our sugar, our iron levels, a lot of things that cholesterol, a lot of things that we were concerned about. And the good news is that we're pretty healthy in that regard, and so it was really a nice conversation to have with the dietitian.
And back with the doctor, it was also fun in the blood work that he looked to see what we're vaccinated against. So Steve discovered that he's no longer vaccinated against Hep A and Hep B. It just
and that was a surprise. I don't think I ever would have known that. I mean, these are important vaccines to have the antibodies for, and it was not evident in my blood test. So again, that was a little follow-up that we needed to do.
Yeah. So after we left our exam, we then followed up with our referral. So Steve went to see the cardiologist. And do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Talk about it because well, Chris had her ophthalmology follow-up, and it was literally a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, which was the joke. Mine was a little different. I had a nice gentleman rubbing gel on my chest and
talking nicely to you.
Having a nice conversation and doing the ultrasound on my heart and lying down and kind of dozing off while he was looking at my heart. So our exams were.
Anyway, moving on. So the good news is I don't have glaucoma. The good news is he doesn't have any heart disease. And you also had a urologist who said your prostate's doing fine.
Right, and I was able to get a new prescription for an enlarged prostate. Don't want to share too much, but that was taken care of really, really efficiently.
And then we went down the hall to the vaccination clinic, and he got Hep A, Hep B, I got Hep B, and we both got typhoid. So by the end of the day, after 3 days of back and forth to the hospital with the different doctors, we are good to go. So how much did this all cost?
$1 million.
$1 million. Okay. So the health screening for the two of us, it was $900 for the two of us. Mine was a little bit more than hers. I think his was $400, mine was $500 because of the mammogram and the girl stuff. Then let's see, the vaccines for 1 Hep, 2 Hep B's, 2 typhoids, and the doctor's consultation to go along with that was $158. His specialist appointment with the heart doctor, the cardiologist, and his ECG was the sonogram of his heart was $242. Your urology consultation with the specialist was $66. My whole ophthalmology exam, which was really extensive, was $219. So the whole everything, we spent about $1,600 total for all of that. Now, some people might say that's a big number or a small number, whatever. Our point of view is, if we had done that in the U.S., even with our deductibles, and even though we get a wellness exam, I think with our annual insurance, all these specialist referrals and the vaccines and everything else, we never would have come anywhere near $1,600. We are going to submit these receipts to our IMG Global to see if maybe we'll get something back from our wellness check. Whether or not we do or not, that would be just icing on the cake. But otherwise, we feel like for $1,600 to walk away with the cardiologist, the audiologist, the urologist, the ophthalmologist, the dietitian, what's the bone density person called? Anyway, we were actually thinking about if you walked into a U.S. hospital at 8 o'clock in the morning and said, I want a blood test, a urine test, a stress test, audiology, chest x-ray, bone density, organ ultrasound, eye exam, cardiologist, vaccines,
consultation,
dietitian, lunch. You walked in at 8 and expected to leave at 5. There was no way you could organize 8 appointments or 10 appointments or whatever in one day in a U.S. hospital. There's just no way. There's no way.
And
so,
there is another thing that I want to address is that a lot of people talk about continuity of care. And I think we've found that. I think this is a place that I would come back to again and again to meet with these same doctors and provide updates to these same kinds of reports. Even as we were leaving, they said, we'll see you next year. And I was like,
They
And I was
gave,
like,
and they gave us
yeah,
all of our
this is-
record. They gave us all of our records, and they're all online. So I mean, if we don't, or never make it back, we've got our records, and we can carry those with us. So, but I do think we'll be back. I think we found our network of doctors right here in Kuala Lumpur. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging in there. Glad you're with us. Don't forget to subscribe. Next week we're going to talk about my knee, and maybe we'll talk about the holidays. Who knows? See you then.